Aisha Kreutz. You know, I just read a poll today that says that the people who affiliate themselves with the Tea Party movement, the percentage of the population is at 24%. It is up 8% in the past 30 days. That's phenomenal. If we were a clipper ship, we would have the wind right at our back, you know? Full sail. That's right. And while we don't know, we don't need a weatherman to tell us which way the wind blows, we are still honored to have Mr. Kevin Williams join us and address us today. Mr. Kevin Williams.
Oh, what a great day. Isn't global warming great? I'm here because I love my country, and I fear that the country we've known is now heading down a perilous path, a path that could leave our children and their children with fewer freedoms and devastating debt. I was fortunate enough to hear Rick Santelli's wonderful rant on CNBC that may have given birth to the Tea Party movement. Oh, louder?
If you could just speak just
okay.
a little closer.
It sounds like I'm in TV, know how to use these things. I'm sorry. I was just saying how I was fortunate enough to hear Rick Santelli's rant on CNBC when he, I think, perhaps gave birth to this movement. And he addressed how he predicted that soon our government would, like never before, would work to redistribute wealth earned by hardworking, successful Americans to those less ambitious and less successful. In the America I've known, the incentive for working hard is an improved quality of life built in part by earned wealth. But in the America I see today, those who work hard are being punished in the form of an ever-increasing tax burden. Now, I have become perplexed as to what is going on in our great, great nation. In the America I've known, we do not alienate our allies and embolden our enemies. In the America I've known, congressmen are not bribed to pass historic and life-changing legislation. And in the America I've known, policy that could cost American jobs based on junk science is never considered for implementation. But if man-made global warming is not junk science, it is surely bad science. Thanks to the various ClimateGate scandals, we now know that scientists working on behalf of the United Nations have fudged and manipulated data to hide the truth.
That's right.
That truth being there has been no statistically significant global warming since 1995. We further know that these scientists have attempted to hide previous warming periods in an effort to depict the Earth as being warmer now than it has been in eons. But the truth is, the warmest decade in America in the 135-year thermometer history was the 1930s. What's more, 1,000 years ago, the world was much warmer than it was today. This was a time when Greenland was green enough and warm enough to allow colonization. But I bet you didn't know that those Viking ships spewed CO2. All of this goes to the point that despite what the mainstream national media would have you believe, the sky is not falling. Now, of course, those UN scientists I mentioned have been warning that the sky is falling, because that is what their computer models have said. But these scientists have been left confounded and embarrassed because their expensive computers have failed miserably to reflect the current trends. That the Earth is not warming, sea levels are barely rising, hurricanes are not strengthening, and global ice masses are actually starting to increase. Of course, when someone like me points this out, we're called deniers and worse. But the truth is, I'm active in groups that promote clean and healthy environments, and I believe strongly that development of all our natural energy resources is vital to our national security interests. But the idea that man-made global warming is some kind of national emergency that demands giving up our quality of life is absurd. And to think really big polluters like China would take action with us is even more absurd. So, now that all major national polls show that the majority of Americans are catching on to the fraud that is man-made global warming, we still have a problem. The problem is our politicians are either not paying attention or, more ominously, are beholden to special interest groups looking to cash in on the gloom and doom dogma perpetuated by the likes of a former vice president and others. Now, the cap and trade legislation now before Congress, if passed, would require corporations to pay more to do business if that business resulted in extra carbon dioxide emissions. And certain special interest groups are positioned to make millions of dollars off trading carbon credits. And who do you think would ultimately pay for these increased costs? Yeah, you and me. An internal memo from the Obama administration suggests that an average American family would pay an additional $1,800 annually if cap and trade is passed. And according to the Heritage Foundation, that cost will rise to $4,700 annually by the year 2035. Furthermore, job losses are projected to be 1.1 million annually beginning in the year 2012, and will pay 58% more in gas consumption, and electricity bills will rise by 90%. And this to curb CO2 output in an effort to do the impossible, control the climate. Oh, and by the way, as you may have heard before, next time you hear someone tell you that CO2 is a pollutant, please correct them. CO2 is indeed what makes green plants green. Not only is it not a pollutant, it is a critical component of life. And as you heard a moment ago, by far the biggest greenhouse gas in our atmosphere, 98% is water vapor. So maybe the government is misguided and should instead try to control the clouds. Well, there are many important issues that our great country faces today, and it will take hard work and God's help to overcome these, including those that are self-inflicted. But not among these great challenges is man-made global warming. So let's focus on the important matters at hand and make sure that cap and trade never sees the light of day for the good of America's generation. Thank you.
Mr. Kevin Williams. You know, that's a demonstration of what we all need to do, friends. We all need to take a stand. Now, I don't think that this was not perhaps at some cost to Mr. Williams. And we must realize that we must do the same. We must do the same.